Hello everyone, and now welcome to Game 2 between WFZ and Romantic. Game 2 taking place here on Bright and Dark. And I gotta say, Game 1 really just was fast right out of the gates. I'm gonna speed things up just a little bit, but not quite up to the 8 speed. Bright and Dark, this is human versus undead. WFZ spawning as the red undead player on the bottom left hand side of the map. Meanwhile, we see Romantic spawning as the purple human on the top right. Now, we are looking at a Mountain King first once more. And I gotta say, Game 1 was one of those games where I really didn't know who was gonna win up until the end. And that's really a good sign of a good WarCraft 3 game. People, they keep on taking advantage of the current situation, of the current layout. Both players take risks, and whoever takes the right risk at the right time ends up winning, as you're looking at a quick militia creep clear of the Draenei Seer here. Now, Draenei Seer and this creep camp should offer a lot of experience and opening up this mercenary camp here. Mountain King grabbing a potion of greater mana, which is the exact item he needs, and it will become more and more useful the higher level he gets, since the potion of greater mana restores 300 mana. You can see that he's currently maxed out at 225. Now that Draenei Watcher gonna go ahead and get taken down. You can see that there is one Draenei Disciple. He is essentially the Troll Shadow Priest on this map for this neck of the woods, healing already. Now, what's happening over here? The Death Knight now making his way over, going after the Rogue Wizards. With the skeletal minions, he can deal a lot of damage to these Rogue Wizards, and he should be able to pick up some very useful items. Gloves of Haste, Replenishment Potion already, without really investing all too much time. Meanwhile, the Mountain King gonna finish off the lesser Voidwalkers here, stay at tier 2, and we'll see what his next strategy will be. Now, the Town Hall is up, and I don't see... let's take a look at this. I don't see quite enough peasants for, say, an expansion, but he could end up training more. We'll have to keep a close eye on that. Now, Mountain King now being brought back home. He wants to make sure to kind of protect these militia as the peasants... getting taken down already. The Death Knight wants to perhaps launch in a Death Coil, and now just dealing damage to the barracks. Not going to really get anything off of that, as the skeletal minions take down another peasant. This is really giving a good amount of experience, as the Draenei Disciple not going to be able to finish off this skeleton warrior. Death Knight sitting at level 1 may be able, if he can get 3 more peasant kills, that should be enough, but no, it looks like he will not, as all the units are running away. Death Knight out of skeletal minion charges and getting stopped at a pig crossing in the middle of the map, decides to head back home, as Halls of the Dead is nearly completed, and we should be looking at a second hero. Now, we are going to be getting to tier 2 well before, or just around the 5-minute mark for Undead, and that is going to be a really, really big deal. The fact that the Undead is already nearly at tier 2 while Romantic is looking to set up an expansion and hasn't done so yet is going to put him a little bit behind. You can see the expansion off over here is going to get cleared out, but what is more important is the fact that Romantic is going to be able to grab this Greater Voidwalker. If you did not know, on this map, the Greater Thunder Lizard and the Greater Voidwalker both drop a Rune of Rebirth. So it is very, very important that you grab those creep camps. If Romantic is able to grab this Greater Voidwalker and also the Thunder Lizard, the pacing of this game will change dramatically, as the expansion should be coming up here in just a moment. Mountain King also grabbing a Wand of Mana Stealing. Very, very interesting item, as the Wand of Mana Stealing is going to make this Mountain King that much more deadly. Alright, skeletal minions sneaking their way through. They see that the gate has been opened up, and the footman is trying to take them down. Mountain King gonna go after these units here. There is the Greater Voidwalker, pretty much an indicator that the expansion has been cleared, or the base has been cleared, but they don't know if militia was used there to clear it up. It is on the far side of the map, and with only one crypt, there is not going to be the option to try and train gargoyles to get over there. More skeletal minions now making their way over. Mountain King gets in a quick bash to take down one of the skeletal minions. Meanwhile, a cold arrow coming in from the Greater Voidwalker, slowing him down again. If the Mountain King can clear out this Thunder Lizard here and grab the expansion, that is going to be a very, very big deal. As you can see, the rogues here not doing very much, and the other unit, I guess the Apprentice Wizard, which is normally attackable, because he was already taken out earlier by the Death Knight, he was unable to engage against that creep camp. All right, skeletal minions. You can see a Fell Beast there. The Fell Beast does deal chaos damage, a little bit of a bonus fact if you are looking to ignore damage types and attack buildings or attack units. All right, there's that cold arrow once more. It looks like, yes, it will get taken down, and that Greater Voidwalker has been doing its job, allowing the Mountain King to gain extra experience by picking off slow units. All right, there goes another. The Mountain King already almost halfway to level 4, and that is going to be scary. Lich currently sitting with 0 experience on the board as the Mountain King runs forth to takes out another skeletal minion. Mountain King still with plenty of experience and now sees that a Black Citadel has been upgraded. All right, a little bit of cold damage. Mountain King now able to slip away. The Draenei Disciples, 2 of them, both of them with relatively low hip or low mana, not going to be able to do all that much as we see a Death Coil onto a Crypt Fiend. Is it going to be enough? The Mountain King should be able to launch another Stormbolt. No, ends up getting stuck by his own units and now being forced to try and take down another instead. All right, Greater Voidwalker with -5 armor, taking an additional 27% damage because of that Orb of Corruption. Perhaps 2 of the best items that can go on a Lich. Gloves of Haste, Orb of Corruption. If you can get that debuff on the multiple units, you will see that the other army just melts in a matter of seconds, especially with the focused fire of those Crypt Fiends. Mountain King and the Greater Voidwalker now making its way over. Are we going to perhaps see a Stormbolt come in? No Stormbolt as of yet. You did see the Wand of Mana Stealing being used, and there is a Stormbolt onto the Lich. Lich going to get Death Coiled as we now see things get turned around once more. The Draenei Disciple looks like it will get taken down as the Death Knight wants his kill. Stormbolt onto the Crypt Fiend. Crypt Fiend most likely is going to get taken out. The Death Knight without enough mana, but both sides losing a lot of units here once again. Death Knight now surrounded, and is he perhaps going to be able to use the Scroll of Town Portal? He should be able to, but no, instead chasing after the Greater Voidwalker as that is a very big threat. The rest of the units getting slowed down by that Frost Armor, making it very, very difficult to chase. And now the Undead is just picking apart units. But what is this? The Lich may end up getting taken down. Yes, he does. The Scroll of... I thought he had a Scroll of Town Portal, but he may have been stunned. Mountain King now sitting at level 4. And that is going to be a very big deal as we are now nearly upgraded to Keep. The additional economy is going to start to play a very, very big role in this upcoming fight. As you see the Mountain King now making its way over. Mountain King sitting at 241 mana, going after some easy units, but not going to be able to do very much of anything. Stormbolt onto the Death Knight. Death Knight now in a little bit of trouble. Mountain King did use that potion of mana. Also has a potion of invulnerability. Death Knight now trying to get away. And where is he going to go? That is the big question. Potion of invulnerability or potion of invisibility followed by a Scroll of Town Portal after Dust of Appearance as all the units now run back home. A Dire Wolf gonna get taken down here. This low hit point footman perhaps should be heading back. There is a little bit of missing here as the Destroyer gonna finish off that easy unit. There is a Stormbolt there picking up the Pendant of Energy, and now it is up to the Mountain King to try and get away. Death Knight down to 100 or 475 hit points. Footman after Footman is falling, and the Mountain King gonna have a very difficult time running away. Has a second Scroll of Town Portal. Never seen that, or have not seen that in quite some time, as the Mountain King gets in a quick Stormbolt there. Now using a potion of invulnerability, gets another Stormbolt on the Death Knight. And what is going on here? Staff of Teleportation in order to get away. Teleporting back over here. Gonna use a potion of healing, Scroll of Regeneration. The Greater Voidwalker ended up surviving during this time. And perhaps he should drop that Pendant of Energy so he regenerates more mana and gets back up to full. All right. Overlord gonna get taken down. Boots of Speed picked up by the Death Knight as the Lich gets to level 2. Meanwhile, I would have expected the Blood Mage to be added, but still no sign of him. Masonry upgrade level 2 underway to try and fight back here as the Destroyers are going to look to try and take down a whole bunch of Scout Towers. Oh, Destroyers gonna try and take down the Scout Towers here. It looks like repairs are underway. Not gonna work. More repairs coming in as the Destroyers are now going after new targets. All right, no auto repair on these peasants, and that is always something that I wondered. Why not auto repair? That way you can micro a bit better. You can see that this guard tower looks like it will get taken down, and too much reliance on towers and not enough control on the peasants, the downfall of this defense. Meanwhile, the Mountain King coming over, and oh, the Greater Voidwalker with those cold arrows could spell a bunch of problems as the Mountain King gets another Stormbolt off. Potion of Invulnerability could come in. No, Chain Lightning instead as the Death Knight falls at level 3. Mountain King just chasing after that Lich. There's the Stormbolt. We all expected it. Mountain King getting in a little bit ahead there, not purposely not attacking as he wants to be able to keep up. Death Knight now back out on the field and gonna use a Scroll of Town Portal instead. They're teleported back home. Beautiful use of the Tavern to save a low hit point near certain death Lich. All right, peasants now running over here to the other neck of the woods, knowing that the main base has no protection for them whatsoever. It is now one mining base to one mining base. Double workshops underway. Is it triple? No, only double workshops as the Destroyers clearing out the Scout Towers here. Supply count 32 over 48 compared to 46 over 50. Don't have to be a math major to figure out that the Undead has a definitive advantage. The Destroyers are now going to make their way over to this neck of the woods only to see a whole bunch of guard towers, knowing that they cannot clear that out. All right. However, wait, why don't they... Is he magic immune? I would assume that the Destroyers would try to take down the Greater Voidwalker since he has heavy armor. An easy target, but instead the Greater Voidwalker is now picking off Destroyer after Destroyer. If all three of these Destroyers get taken out, that is going to be a big problem. Mountain King and Paladin working together to go after the other heroes. The Death Knight dead on the other side of the map, and I think that may have just been a massive snipe. The Paladin should be able to heal the Mountain King there. Meanwhile, let's take a look at that. It looks like, yes, the Greater Voidwalker was finally attacked. That was just completely mismanaged from the looks of things, and now the Undead has really put himself in an awkward situation. Now the human player should be able to start mining from this base here, should be able to start setting up more guard towers, and if the Mountain King actually picks up an Orb of Fire, he has the ability to attack air. All right, where is that Paladin? I could have sworn a Paladin's right over here. He has the Pendant of Energy. Very smart. He gives the Pendant of Energy. Oh, wow, the Greater Voidwalker didn't fall. He did end up taking a fair bit of damage, though, and now the Mountain King using those Clarity Potions while the Pendant of Energy is on the Paladin. Most likely that Pendant of Energy will get transferred back over in a little bit. All right. Lich picking up the Hood of Cunning, +4 agility, +4 intelligence, very high armor from the Frost Armor and that Hood of Cunning now as the Lich is getting stronger and stronger. Undead still operating on one base though. Meanwhile, the human player operating on 2 bases and now evening up the supply count at 48 supply. What is Romantic's next strategy going to be? He doesn't have any towers here, and I don't know if he wants to actually invest towers there. Flying Machines, a much more mobile reaction to the Destroyers, and perhaps a little bit better as well, as the Green Drake now going to get taken down off over here. Meanwhile, the Flying Machines do not have the bombardment upgrade at all, so they are not going to be able to attack ground anytime soon. Human player can start to build up a cache of gold. Meanwhile, Undead is currently only mining 7 gold a second compared to 20 gold a second from his opponent. Let's take a look at things. The Greater Voidwalker, the Paladin, the Pendant of Energy was transferred back to the Mountain King as I expected it would be. Double Scrolls of Town Portal, and now adding in some siege engines as well. Undead now clearing up, also adding in some meat wagons. So the meat wagons are there as a precaution against siege engines since workshops were in play. Shade now keeping track of everything as we're taking a look at a couple of guard towers currently being constructed. All right, Greater Voidwalker in a bunch of trouble, instead getting staffed to Sanctuary, and now Flying Machines are out and about. Flying Machines going after those units there. Death Knight now trying to wander around the Flying Machines, focusing down a Destroyer. It looks like the Destroyer will get taken down. Another quick web, another Flying Machine goes down, but the damage is starting to amass up as the Destroyers really need to do a great job. Death Knight uses Death Pack on a Crypt Fiend in order to heal back up to full. As we now take a look at what's going on over here, that's just a Sentry Ward, and now a couple of Scout Towers, which have been pretty much canceled from their upgrades. One Destroyer that is left, one Crypt Fiend down over here. Meanwhile, Siege Engines attempting to take down a Nerubian Tower. Mountain King could easily start taking out a couple of these Acolytes. There goes one Acolyte now, as the Flying Machines are now being forced to back off. Romantic does not have the right units to try and put pressure inside an actual base, and will be forced to engage against the Undead here. Romantic simply walking by with a Greater Voidwalker. What was that about? As the units could have taken down one of the biggest threats that have been bothering WFZ throughout this game. Still falling asleep at the wheel here, as we now are taking a look at the Undead attempting to take down this castle. All right, castle taking a fair bit of damage. Let's take a look at what's happening next. There is one meat wagon just launching bodies at this castle. That's probably one of the most scary things you can ever see. You're hiding in your home, and you can see that you're under siege by a mechanical device just throwing bodies at your building in order to destroy it. All right, one meat wagon not gonna make it all the way back home. Mountain King still sitting at level 5. Paladin sitting at level 2. Both of them with plenty of very, very good items, as the rest of the peasants have now been taken down. This one meat wagon, all that is the real unit that's dealing damage here. Everything else pretty superficial at this point, as the Paladin or the Blood Mage makes his way out just in time to absolutely get destroyed, siphoning the mana away from the Death Knight, as the Paladin does arrive to get a Holy Light off. Mountain King comes in, wrecks something already. Destroyers are now up in the air. Blood Mage is there. Is he going to get Holy Lighted again? Yes, he is going to get Holy Lighted. Staff of Sanctuary could come into play, as the Blood Mage now trying to get away. Is the Blood Mage going to get Holy Lighted? No, siphon mana away from the Death Knight. The Greater Voidwalker gets stacked to Sanctuary, teleported back to the north. He is now going to get Devour Magic to remove that buff, as the Greater Voidwalker now trying to slip away again. Okay, Paladin getting more mana. Is he going to be able to Holy Light the Mountain King? Yes, he's going to go back into the fight, get a Stormbolt off onto the Lich. The Lich, however, far too strong. Too many hit points, especially with that Frost Armor and Hood of Cunning, making it even more difficult. Death Knight now pretty much out of mana and unable to heal. That's going to be a big deal. Squirrel Town Portal gets off in time, and Lich will be able to teleport back, as the castle will not go down. Plenty of gold for Romantic. Meanwhile, we got to look at how much gold is remaining. Plenty of gold. 6,000 gold right now for the Undead gold mine, as another Acolyte needs to be trained up and perhaps start getting more here. All right. A little bit of a dangerous situation, as we are now transitioning into Griffins. Griffins, not the typical unit of choice when your opponent is going Mass Destroyers, but then again, I cannot even say that Mass Destroyers are on the table. There are 4 Crypt Fiends and 2 Destroyers, so Griffins seem like the last unit you would want to try and train. However, it's always been said brute force has been known to do wonders, and having a lot of Griffins out on the field can make the job of the Undead army that much more difficult. All right, Blood Mage now trying to sneak away. Mountain King there as well. If the Blood Mage gets to level 2, Banish Stormbolt is instant death, I believe, for a Crypt Fiend. And once those Crypt Fiends are all gone, what can really be done? All right, go straight after the meat wagon. Meat wagon now taken down. Crypt Fiends now all getting ensnared, as the Lich now in a little bit of trouble. Lich does have a potion of invulnerability if he could use it. There you go, trying to go after it. There's the potion of invulnerability. Blood Mage getting Staff to Sanctuary, but still getting taken out as the Crypt Fiends are now trying to fight back. Death Knight has a potion of invulnerability as well. Is he going to use it? Yes, he does. But now the Death Knight, now the Mountain King now trying to make his run back as well. Scroll of Town Portal trying to save everyone in this fight. Holy Light back onto the Griffin Rider, and yes, there is the teleport once more. All right, no more Meat Wagon means that the castle is pretty much not in danger of falling, as the Paladin and the rest of the heroes are going to try and get trained back up. Undead, in a very, very curious spot, should be able to take down this castle if he had saved the Meat Wagon, but the Griffins were there just to try and protect the buildings. The attacks of the current units you see from the Undead army, not good at taking down buildings. And buildings are what you need in order to win the game. All right, Shade able to slip away. The flying machines didn't catch up to it, as the Griffin Riders now flying all the way around. All right, let's take a look. More and more damage to those poor workers. Gold still being mined as more units now making their way over. Perhaps it was spotted by a Shade, hence the hasty retreat. We're taking a look at the gold mine, down to about 4,900, 4,800. 8 minutes left from the main gold mines here. This gold mine still has plenty of gold left, since well, you see that there's only one peasant currently mining on it. Mountain King in a little bit of trouble. Nope, not going to be able to do very much of anything. Blood Mage is there as well. The Blood Mage not going to be able to siphon mana from the destroyers, even if they had mana, since they are magic immune. Off to the north, one Griffin is right there. He's going to end up getting taken. Oh, the Devour magic to allow the Griffin to get away. I don't understand why you would devour the magic. The Griffin is stationary, can't move. Just attack it, and your damage should be more than enough than the actual regeneration. All right, let's come back around. We're taking a look at the Mountain King and the Griffins now making their way over. The destroyers are all over there as well. There's a couple of webs. Down goes one Crypt Fiend. A second Crypt Fiend. Saved just in time by a level 3 Death Coil, as now the Lich is now on the run. All right, Griffins going after units. The destroyers should perhaps be the main units to go after. No Dust of Appearance to try and save the units, and you can see that the Obsidian statues should be focused down. All right, more armor, more damage coming in. Flying machines now making their way over, and the destroyers have to figure out, do I go after the flying machines that are attacking me, or do I go after the Griffins that are attacking everything else? And that little bit of confusion, that little bit of misfocus fire may tip things in favor of Romantic. The flying machines are now tearing apart the destroyers, and once the destroyers are gone from this army, the main threat is pretty much gone as well. All right, ensnare onto a destroyer here, and as the destroyer is just gonna get taken down, yes, by the I'm not sure what it was taken down by, but it was taken down there. Mountain King still trying to chase. Death Knight able to slip through, as the attacks are going to miss. Too many Spirit Towers here, plus the addition of the Black Citadel. Lich nearly at level 6. Death and Corruption not too far away. Paladin still at level 2, or Paladin at level 3, Blood Mage at level 2, Mountain King at level 5, as the Blood Mage wants to siphon mana if possible. Oh, Dark Ritual to prevent the experience gain. This is not Dota, but we did just see that. Dark Ritual in order to get a little bit more mana and prevent experience from his opponent. Mountain King now making his way back off to the north. You can see Griffin Rider currently regenerating hit points back at the castle. Still no signs of any towers here, but with this army of flying machines, it's going to take quite some time before WFZ actually has enough destroyers to really put pressure on this base. Now, let's take a look at this. Lich sitting at level 5. Blood Mage, oh god, getting caught in open field. There's a potion of healing. There's a holy light. And that was just enough to save it, as the Blood Mage is still running for the hills. There's a silence on the Paladin, as the Paladin will most likely try and save that Blood Mage one more time. All right, Mountain King low on mana. Blood Mage low on mana. Paladin, the only one that has any mana to really play with. As you see a Griffin getting caught in open field, there is that web, and down it goes. Lich now sitting at level 6. Flying machines just around the corner. And are we going to perhaps see the destroyers go after that obsidian statue? No, it is not, as the obsidian statue now turns into a destroyer. Flying machines were at the ready for the fight, but didn't get there in time. Griffin still being trained here. Let's take a look. Griffin's now with animal war training. Pure focus fire onto the Lich. Lich does get the potion of invulnerability off just in time. Dark Ranger has a potion of invulnerability as well. Paladin using his divine shield. And pretty much, there's not going to be a unit on the field that you could attack. So much divine shield, so much invulnerability happening as all the heroes have essentially a get out of jail for 7 seconds. But it's still not... Oh, beautiful timing on that death coil. I thought it was going to be a day late, but no, it is not. But it may still not amount to much, as we are taking a look at the Holy Light to finish off the Lich. And there is the GG. Romantic taking game number 2 to even up the series. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed game 2. Please stay tuned for game number 3.